Hey everybody, it's your girl Planet Tot on deck. I hope you guys are having a great day, afternoon, and or evening whenever you guys are seeing this. So thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys know that I truly appreciate that. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this true crime story time. So in 2019, Gianna Delgado's mother passed away in her sleep. Her mother passed away of a heart attack. And Gianna was only 17 years old at the time. Now, as we know, any years in the teen whatsoever, it can be a devastating time in a kid's life to lose a parent. Like, when is ever really a good time to lose a parent, right? But really more so when a kid is in that stage of development, being a teenager, it can be extremely hard and taxing. So Gianna was left devastated by the loss of her mother. But thankfully, she had a supportive family, two brothers at the time, 13-year-old Sebastian and 10-year-old Giovanni, and a loving father by the name of Richard, who was there with her to help her get through some of the pain and to help her with the healing that she needed in order to be able to understand and move forward. Her life was already off to a rocky start, and with it starting so rocky, we always hope for a grandoso ending of sorts. But some were shocked by the way it all ended for Gianna. If you guys want to know the information that I've uncovered, all you guys got to do is stay tuned. Okay guys, thank you guys so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. It is raining cats and dogs out here today, and your girl's out here recording the elements, so I hope you guys enjoy the sound of the rain coming down as I take you guys through the life that I've learned about of Gianna Delgado. So her father, when he described her as resilient, he said after the passing of her mother, she basically, after, of course, everybody has that period of grief, of being hurt, of being, just consumed and trying to heal and trying to process and understand. But after she got out of that moment, she jumped into her season. And her season was that of transformation. It was that of abundance. It was that of acceptance. It was that of understanding. It was that of moving forward. Okay, so she, Gianna, let's see, she was taken out of her high school at Wakakoma High School, and she was placed in the Boys and Girls Club instead in North Carolina. Now, from the way that this sounded to me, it was like saying it was like maybe a step-up program or something else like that, where advanced students would actually be able to go. And from my understanding, Gianna was very smart, and she studied pretty hard, and she made sure to get good grades. So she was really doing all that she could, to be successful in that regard. Now, she actually graduated from this school as valedictorian, which was pretty amazing, of her class. And she received a full scholarship to High Point University. So that lets you know just how well she was doing, how well off she was. She got a full scholarship because she studied that well, and she was that ambitious, and she put in the hard work and the effort. And when she was at High Point University, she was actually studying criminal law, which is a great subject to study. At some point on her journey, this vibrant, loving student became friends with a guy by the name of Michael Louis Cadogan. That friendship at some point blossomed into a love relationship, and the couple moved in together. Now, according to Gianna's father, the couple dated for about a year, but the previous November, they had decided to call it quits. So on Father's Day weekend in June of this year, 2021, Richard wanted to surprise his daughter and take her to her first nightclub. Now, can you guys imagine how cool that would be for your father to want to take you out and just show you a good time at a nightclub? From my understanding, Gianna and her father, Richard, were actually very, close. On the screen, you guys should see a few different pictures that I've put up of them. They were actually very close, and I believe their relationship got even closer after the passing of her mother. It's kind of like, you know, for some people, they say if you ever lose one sense, another sense intensifies. Well, if you ever lose one parent, then, you know, if you have another one or another parental figure, it doesn't have to be biological, guys. But people usually step up in place right where they're needed, and I feel like this was something that likely happened with their connection. So from my understanding, they were very close, and they would talk regularly, daily. They would, via text or something, they would talk, you know, via text daily. So, you know, on the Father's Day weekend, he decided to surprise her, and he took her out to her very first nightclub, which I think was very cool. So it was Gianna, her father, and his girlfriend. The three of them, they enjoyed an evening of food, laughter, and dancing, something that none of them were likely to ever forget. It's like, you know how you go out with your family and you have such a good time that just like it's etched in your memory as a, well, remember this always when we had this amazing time. I didn't see it coming and it was fun, right? So that's what he did. He took her out. Now, so I'm going to call her Gia because her name is Gianna, and she has a brother named Giovanni, and unfortunately, I'm not sure how it keeps rolling off my tongue the wrong way, so to respect her, I'm going to call her Gia, and I hope that's okay. So Gia was scheduled to work at Cracker Barrel through the weekend, and she wasn't supposed to return home until Monday. However, Gia wouldn't be coming back home the way her father was expecting. She knew something was wrong. He had spoken to Gia around 10:30 p.m. Sunday night when she had gone home to let her dog Franklin out for a walk. But come Monday morning, the text that he and his daughter shared didn't come. Now, remember just a few minutes ago when I was telling you all that they were very close. They shared a morning text. For instance, when I used to drive a few cities over to go to work, I would call my mom. She would be going to work too. This was a few years back. But I would call her, and she and I would talk every morning while we would commute. So we just had that really tight bond like that. That is a bond that I would equate to how Gia and her father Richard, experienced their bond, except for it was a morning text saying, good morning, maybe you had breakfast yet, what you doing, you up, get up, or something silly, or a pet name that they called each other, something like that. Just a loving, jovial type expression to let you know, I'm here, are you here type thing. And that's what they had. But when he didn't get that text on Monday morning, after he had talked to her that previous evening on Sunday and spent some time with her, he knew something was wrong. So it was 5:30 on Monday when Richard received an anonymous call from someone stating they had found a phone on the side of the road 5 miles from Tennessee line. And Richard was the emergency contact, right? So you haven't heard from your kid / BFF, right? And then all of a sudden you get an anonymous call and the person tells you, oh, well, I found their phone 5 miles 5 miles by the Tennessee border or line or whatever, how they describe it. And you're like, okay, first you're thinking initially, is this a joke, right? Because why would you joke like that? Yeah, but you just don't know, right? And then the other part of that is, why would she not be with her own phone? What's going on? So the father's suspicions, I'm sure they had to be intensifying at this point. So one of the things that I want to tell you guys at home is a good idea to do that can also help your loved ones get to you as soon as possible is to make sure that you save whoever your emergency contact is in your phone that you would like somebody to call in case you need help or if you're in trouble. Save them under ICE in all capital letters, ICE. ICE stands for in case of emergency. So you can put ICE tie, planet tie, right? So it's just an example. If somebody wanted me to be their emergency, you would put ICE planet tie in front of my number. So if your phone was ever found and they were able to get in your phone, because everyone has locks on it these days, just put ICE, the first thing that comes up, is what they're going to look to contact in order to find, the best way to help the person. So that's just a friendly tip. So after receiving that call, Richard called the High Point Police Department requesting they do a wellness check on his daughter. he received a call back from the police immediately. Like, so he called them. They may have said, we're going to have to call you back or something like that. He received a call back immediately, and they told him somebody else just called and requested that a wellness check be done on her. So his suspicions grew, his anxiety grew, as to be expected. It's like, wait a minute, I'm concerned about my daughter. Why would someone else be concerned? So he really began to panic and get even more so concerned at this point. So the officer, when he called Richard back, he informed him that they found Gia's car, and a female body was in it. So to confirm the body, the officer asked if Gia had any birthmarks or tattoos that could be identified. And so then Richard thought to himself, well, okay, my daughter has a tattoo here, there, or she has a birthmark here, there. He went through the normal feelings that any parent would experience at that point, trying to think back to themselves. One, the last time I saw my kid. Two, what were they wearing the last time I saw them? Not that they would have it on immediately there because she was a young adult. But what's the last thing I remember them doing physically to alter their body or image? Was it dyeing the hair? Was it getting a tattoo? Was it getting a piercing? Anything like that can help the police identify his child. So after a while, and he told the officers, well, this is what Gia has. This is what she has going on, either a birthmark or tattoo. After a while, the officer called him back and confirmed that the body in the back of Gia's truck was in fact hers. So in High Point, North Carolina, in June, 19-year-old college student Gianna Delgado went missing. It was reported that Gianna was in High Point to make a little extra money by working at a Cracker Barrel store in Greensboro over the weekend. Co-workers took to Facebook and created a post that said, quote, "To my Facebook friends, one of my co-workers has gone missing. I'm really not sure on what is going on, but we're informed that she was supposed to be working at the Cracker Barrel store in Greensboro this past weekend, but her phone was found near the Tennessee line. Her name is Gianna Delgado. She's 19, kind of tall, slim built, curly hair, wears glasses. If there is anyone who might have an idea where she may be, please call the Cracker Barrel store here in Wilmington or the Greensboro location. We all hope she is okay wherever she is." This is a picture of her and her father. And then they put this picture up as a part of the Facebook post. Now, I say that was, kudos to the co-workers for trying to use any platform they possibly could to try to bring awareness that Gia was missing and that she may be in trouble and may needed help. They didn't have all the facts, and no one has all the facts at this point, guys, because this case is so recent. It is still developing. As we speak, probably new details or more details are being put together about this case. So some of the information that I will read here will be allegedly, okay? So just take it that way. So let's go back to Gia's relationship with 24-year-old Michael Louise Cadogan. Now, remember I told you that the two still live together, right? Okay. Well, it was reported that they were no longer in a relationship. So they had dated for about a year, according to her father. Her father allegedly told a reporter that the couple had been dating for about a year. Now, they had decided, or she decided, he decided, they decided collectively that the relationship was just not going to work. And so, she broke up the relationship. She allegedly broke up the relationship, but they still lived together because there was a shared lease that both of their names was on. And things, can be, kind of pricey, to kind of just get out and get into something else, a new lease or a new rental agreement. So they kept the place together. So, but it was reported that Richard, Gianni's father, was working to help her out of that lease because he and his daughter had talked. I guess she expressed concern that the relationship with, her and Michael had, already ended, that was done, and she really wasn't comfortable living there with him anymore and didn't think it was a good idea. So her father was going to help her get a place to live on campus for her college, because he thought that would probably be a better fit for her, which I totally understand. I think that would have been a good call to get her out of that lease and say, yeah, especially if it's done, let's just let it be, so that, there's no anger or resentment. That happens a lot of times when things have concluded and it's no longer a relationship. Some people feel kind of bitter, they feel frustrated, they can feel like they got the short end of the stick and so forth. So generally it's better to kind of go ahead and cut ties and all that. So it was reported that Sunday, that it was supposed to be Gia's last day actually living there. That was the Sunday before she was allegedly murdered. So officers were called to 3942 2E Palace Way on Monday at 12:41 p.m. to check on Gia. Her name is Gianna Rose Delgado, after getting information that she was assaulted. So keep in mind, her father, Richard, made a wellness check on her. And then somebody else also made a wellness check for police to go check it out, because they allege that Gia was assaulted, right? So with the father's concern and someone else's concern, a lot of people have to question, what is going on? What is going on with Gia? Who's assaulting her and why? On that same morning, a female friend of Michael's got a FaceTime call from him at 5:30 in the morning. When the woman picked up the phone, Michael showed her Gia lying lifelessly in their apartment. Michael allegedly told his friend that he strangled Gia to death, and this woman wasted no time contacting the police. And I say, good job, excellent job. How it's already horrendous enough that you allegedly took the life of your 19-year-old girlfriend. But then to call someone else, even if you did consider them to be a friend, and to say, I've done this thing, I've done this heinous crime, and I want you to help me get away with it. Audacity. So Michael, he kept calling that friend back, right? So the friend, she didn't believe it initially until she saw Gia's body. She saw that the room that Gia was in was disheveled, as if the frailing of things. Like there's obviously an altercation that took place in that room. It was clearly disrupted. And she saw that and she said, you know what? Let me get off this phone. So she got off the FaceTime call with him when she realized that he was serious, and she called the police. And I say that was the best move that she possibly could have done, because had she not done that, then that would have made her an accomplice, whether she was willing or not. If she didn't take action to make the authorities aware of what she just witnessed, then she would have been an accomplice as a byproduct. So I think she did a great thing by contacting the police at that point. So Michael kept calling her back several times to discuss what was going on with Gia's body. And this woman, she was able to record him. She was able to record him so she could show the authorities. So he kept calling her back and saying everything he was doing step by step. I'm wrapping her up now. I've did this now. I've did that now. Now I'm going to put her in the car. Now I'm going to do this and that. And she was like, and she had record press. Okay, so the authorities was walking her through, what to say, to let him continue to talk and continue to say what he was saying. Allegedly, this is how this happened, okay? So the High Point Police Department began looking for Michael. So yeah, based on what they heard from this woman, unidentified woman that was his friend, they began looking for Michael. They said, okay, well, we clearly know that we got to find this guy. We got to stop him. He's allegedly just committed a crime, and we need to find him. We need to stop him. But they were tipped off that he had put Gia's body in the trunk of her car and was headed to Tennessee to dump her body. The High Point police department then reached out to Carter County, Tennessee sheriffs to alert them to the fact that Michael was possibly driving through their area with a body in the trunk. So as soon as they found out, they said, okay, he's leaving our area, our service area, because this actually happened in North Carolina. So he left North Carolina and went to Tennessee, which made it a different jurisdiction. So they went ahead and tipped him off. He's headed your way. Stop him. On June 21st, 2001, this year, Michael Louise Cadogan, 24, was charged with first-degree murder, concealment of death, and tampering with a corpse. Father of the victim, Richard Delgado, says that he will push to get the death penalty in this case. And during an extradition hearing for Michael that was had not too long ago, he had to be escorted out of the courtroom because just at the even sight of looking at Michael, he lost it. He started screaming profanities. He started getting vulgar. You guys check out this quick video that I have here.
She always fought for what she wanted.
Delgado says Gianna had ended a brief relationship with the suspect, Michael Cadogan, but they still shared a lease on an apartment in High Point. He adds Cadogan would often take advantage of her love for her dog, Franklin.
He would use the dog as leverage to underpower my daughter, and he's kidnapped the dog before.
He received a call from someone who had found Gianna's phone on the side of the road in Tennessee. The news of her death soon after, devastating.
No parent should be going through this, what I'm going through right now.
Delgado hopes Cadogan receives the most severe sentence.
I am going to be going for the death penalty to the max, because he definitely took my daughter's last breath. And I will be there when he takes his.
He says he wants to meet the woman who called police and thank her.
Jill would have done that, what you done, and I want you to know.
Until that happens, Delgado will care for Gianna's dog while he deals with her death.
I'm glad he's here with us, because it's the only thing I have left.
Yeah, so like I was saying, the father, he was very upset even at the mere sight of seeing Michael, and to which I completely understand, like 1,000%. The father saying in this case, that he was hoping to receive a verdict of the death penalty. And I said to myself, you know what? I have a daughter myself, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Not even a little bit. Oftentimes when I read these true crime stories, I try to look at things initially from an objective opinion, because sometimes crimes happen that are not necessarily intended for things to go one way or another, and then when I look at it more so in detail, and the crime appears to be of malicious intent, there was always the intent to harm someone else, I start to feel a little different about that. You guys light up the comments and let me know, does that change your opinion if you feel that a crime occurred was actually with malicious intent or not? So, of course, Richard and his family, they miss Gia terribly, and they deserve justice. I'm going to follow this case, because I'd like to see an update at some point to see what justice was actually served in this case. Gianna's dog, Franklin, that she had went home to let out for a walk, her father, so it's allegedly reported that that Michael had taken the dog with her and put the dog in the car. The dog was then taken to, once the police recovered the dog was then taken to like a SPCA or dog place, something like that. And then her father went and got the dog, Franklin, and vowed that he will love Franklin and take care of Franklin the same way that Gia would have wanted, and that he will, do the very best that he can for Franklin and love on him like he would have continued to love on his child, or the way his child would have continued to love on him the same. Right? Which I think was absolutely beautiful. So we know that Franklin is in a safe place. So, like I said, this case is still going on. Michael has not been sentenced at this time, but I do absolutely hope and pray for justice for Gia and her family. And I'm just, it's mind-boggling sometimes, some of the stuff that, people have to go through on their journey. That is all that I have for this true crime story time for you all today. And I appreciate you guys rocking with me, kind of getting through it and with all the rain sounds and everything else like that. I really do appreciate you all being here. If you guys are new here, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Like I always say, there's always another story to be told. But for now, bye.